I never, ever, ever hated spirit gum. Ever in my entire life. Until I did this look. I'm trying to kind of like stay steady or else my horns will like fall off because they do not maintain good balance up in my head. So now that the holidays are getting closer, I thought, why not start my holiday series? And hope you could tell, I am supposed to be the one and only the anti-Santa. So this tutorial is going to be based off Krampus, and if you don't know what Krampus is, he's basically the anti-Santa who kidnaps all the bad children in Christmas time. So be warned, you better be nice this year. Now in this video I do use two prosthetics, a forehead and a nose piece, so if you want a video on how to make prosthetics, just let me know and I will gladly make one for you. Oh, I also have ear prosthetics, which are actually ideas I got from Claire Dele's art. She did an elf ear DIY tutorial, so I basically used her DIY to make these horns, so I will link it down below. Now if you want to learn how I did the horns, there is a tutorial for that. I will have it linked down below, as well as the list of products I used in this video. Now there really isn't a lot to say about this tutorial, except that if you like it, please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel because that really helps me out. Also, if you want to follow me on any other social media, the links will be down below. Before I go, I just want to mention the contact lenses are from chemwise.com. I will post a link down below as well. I don't really remember the name, but I won them in a contest that I won online. So yeah, that's where I got them. And the cloak I'm wearing is actually a gender bent Anna cloak I did during the summer for Comic-Con. I hope that's okay. I didn't really have anything too Christmassy, so I only have this. So yeah. So I really hope you all enjoyed this tutorial, and let's get started. So before starting off the tutorial, I blocked out my eyebrows to make sure that they were protected against all the adhesives that I was going to be using on my face. And then I started sticking down the appliances to my brow and my nose. So I'm using a brow piece and a nose piece I made myself out of gelatin. And what I'm doing is I'm sticking latex where I'm going to apply the prosthetic, and then I'm sticking the prosthetic on top of the latex once the latex was halfway dry. And I'm taking a cotton bud once all the prosthetics were applied with witch hazel to blend out all the edges of the gelatin. Now because it didn't blend out as well as I wanted them to, I'm applying liquid latex to all of the edges of the prosthetic to make sure that they were all blended seamlessly against my skin. And I did about 6 or 8 layers of the liquid latex to make sure that they were pretty seamlessly blended against my skin, and the same process goes to the ears. Okay, so now that I have the prosthetics applied, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply castor seal, which is basically sort of an oil, sort of a sealer that you apply on top of latex so that makeup can adhere to latex well. Now, if you don't know this, regular makeup does not stick to latex as well as grease foundations would, so we at least need to apply a sealer on top of latex so that the makeup can adhere to the latex better. Now, try to avoid the actual gelatin prosthetics and only apply the sealer where the latex is. Okay, so now I'm going to start with the actual makeup process, and for that I'm going to mix Graftobian's cream makeup in Old Age and Mehron's Clown White to get like a really pale, kind of like dead flesh tone. I don't want it to be like a stark white, I wanted there to be hints of flesh tone, so that's what I'm going to mix in the Old Age, and at the same time, possibly my Stay Matte But Not Flat foundation in medium beige from NYX Cosmetic. So I'm gonna do a mix of all three and see what skin tone do I have. Okay, so that seems to be the color that I got. So after mixing all of the 3 foundations together, I got like a really light, literally almost dead kind of flesh tone color, and I just applied this to my entire face, neck, and ears using a Dip Beauty Blender sponge. And I felt like I went a little bit too white, so I'm just reapplying more of my NYX foundations to the mixture. So in order to set the cream makeup, I'm going to use NYX's finishing powder and translucent, and I'm going to pat this all over my face. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Skin Illustrator Effects palette, and I'm going to use the black from that Skin Illustrator Effects palette and a bristle brush and a lot of alcohol, 99% alcohol, so that I can like flick it on my skin and that will create skin texture. I'm just gonna spray a lot of alcohol in the black. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spatter the paint on my face so it'll create a lot more texture and it will break up the skin complexion, and at the same time it'll add those dead grayish kind of effects. If you feel like they are a little bit too harsh, you can take whatever was left on your beauty blender or whatever you used to apply the makeup and just dab it over the black, and that will sort of blend it better into the skin. I'm gonna do the exact same thing, but instead I'm gonna use the blue from that palette. And same thing with the green. After that, I used a brown eyeshadow to start contouring my face, and I'm using the brown eyeshadow first to hollow out my eyes to make them look more sunken in and evil, and at the same time make my cheekbones look a lot more prominent. And I'm using first a brush to sort of sketch out the cheekbone, and then a buffing brush to buff it and blend it all in, making my nose look thinner and pointier, and at the same time adding some crazy smile lines and making my temples look a little bit more sunken in. After that, I'm taking NYX's Primal color eyeshadow in black, which is a very, very pigmented shadow, and I'm using this to darken up the contour and make the features look a bit more prominent. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a lot more white to the mixture I used to paint my whole face, and I'm gonna start highlighting the highest points of my face, so the temples, the wrinkles on the brows, the cheekbones, chin, bridge of the nose, all those things. So now I'm going to take the NYX Primal color in black again and a really, really fine artist brush, and as you can see it's like really, really detailed. I'm going to start defining the wrinkles that I have on the prosthetic, as well as add a few other wrinkles on my face to add a lot more character. And of course, right when I start getting very detailed with the makeup, my camera has to lose focus. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the black eyeshadow on a fine artist brush, and I'm just creating wrinkles on my face and blending those out using my finger. And at the same time, I'm putting a highlight in between each of the wrinkles to make them stand out a little bit more. Remember that for each shadow and each wrinkle, there's going to be a highlight. So in between each little line that you make, you want to make a white highlight on either side of the line and blend it out using your fingers. After that, I took a red eyeliner and applied this to both my waterlines, and then I took a pink cream makeup and applied this close to the waterline to make my eyes look a little bit more irritated. To create the effect of dry, cracked lips, I'm just using a black eyeshadow and applying this to my lips, and then I'm using whatever was left on my beauty blender and applying this on top of my lips once I press them together. And once I released my lips, it created the effect of dry and cracked lips. And I'm just using a pink cream makeup to add a bit more life to the lips, and then I'm setting all of that with powder. Okay, so in order to explain the tedious process of applying crepe hair, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take spirit gum, and this is Mehron spirit gum, and I'm going to apply this where I'm going to apply the crepe hair. I'm going to tap the spirit gum to make sure it gets tacky. Have some baby wipes next to you, because trust me, you will need these. Then I'm going to take my crepe wool, and as you can see I have a long thing of crepe wool right here. I am going to snip one of the ends of the crepe wool. That's enough. I'm going to separate the hair so that I would have a good, decently sized chunk that I can place there. And then I'm going to apply it, like so. Keep repeating the exact same steps until you have a head full of luscious weave. And style it back or tease it or do whatever you want with it, but just make sure that when you're doing this you have to tap the spirit gum so that it gets tacky.
and then apply the crepe hair on top. Also, trust me, this is a very messy process, as you can see here. So you will have crepe hair on almost every single thing you own, so just be warned. In order to get a realistic effect, you have to apply the crepe hair in rows. So as you can see here, I started off at my jawline and I worked my way up a little bit more towards my cheek. So at the end, I ended up having about 2 or 3 rows of crepe hair, and that gave me a thick enough beard and a more realistic effect. So you want to keep this in mind whenever you're applying crepe hair. Give yourselves a little haircut, obviously being careful, you do not want to cut yourself or else that will be bad. Also style and make the hair look cray-cray, remember this Krampus, the hair don't gotta be luscious. And if your hair is already like a really dark color, you do not have to do this. But since my hair was leaning more towards a gingerish color, I had to take some black body paint on an airbrush and airbrush this all over the hair to make it a darker color. And after this, I just popped in my contact lenses, my fangs, my horns, and I was practically done.